Thanks for watching News Echoes. My name is Shegun Johnson, and it's going to be a great day today. I'm sure my colleagues are here with us. God bless you all for watching. Right in Moscow, we have Dr. Godwin Ibe. Dr. Ibe, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, viewers, for tuning
in. And in the commercial capital of Nigeria is Bidi Nana. Bidi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Shego, Dr. Ibe. Massive man, good morning. Our viewers all around the world, good morning. Thanks for joining us again today. Let's do it like always.
Massive man, thank you for taking care of technicalities. You're welcome all the way from Milan, Italy.
At the point, Dr. Shegun, I thought you were in New York at the United Nations Assembly meeting.
I wish.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning, Dr. Godwin. Good morning, BD. Thank you for having me here again.
And we'll be starting with that one, talking about the UNGA, the United Nations General Assembly meeting. President Bola Tinubu for the first time spoke at the General Assembly yesterday. He was the 14th speaker of the day, and he spoke on 5 main issues. He spoke on good governance, how to stop coups, how to increase the foreign direct investment, and he also discussed about Nigeria being open to friends. And his speech has gone viral, and everybody is criticizing or loving it. And maybe let's start with Passive Mark. I know you've been following closely. What impression do you make of his speech at the United Nations General Assembly?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Shagu. Mr. Tinubu, yes, addressed the General Assembly on Tuesday, 11 o'clock CET time, and that was like midnight for some of us, 12 o'clock for those in Nigeria. And yes, he spoke on the team. There was a team for that this 78th session of the UNGA. The team actually is rebuilding trust and reigniting global solidarity. So he spoke on that line. He spoke with some very good passion. Yes, he did that actually. He gave some key issues on sustainable development, climate change, global cooperation, and he talked also on this global humanitarian crisis facing the world. So we were following it. I've not slept up till now because we were watching the live coverage. Let me say that for once, I think the INEC-led president did well. His presentation wasn't bad. In 100, I'll give him 60 marks out of 100. So that wasn't bad for United Nations General Assembly presentation. Thank you, Dr. Shegun.
Yeah, I believe that the writer of his speech did very well. Reading it, I said, I'm sure this brother did not write this by himself, but the writer, whoever it is in the Ministry of External Affairs, wrote very well. The only thing is that we can pick him up on some issues when he was started to talk about good governance and not rigging election and coup. Bidi, the president is out of the country making waves in New York. Do you think are Nigerians following him, or what do you say?
Nigerians are actually engrossed with the death of a young, talented Nigerian who just died. So many people are not actually talking about that, but they are aware that he's not in the country. The death of Mohbad is the issue a lot of Nigerians
yes, we're coming to the death of Mohbad. His name is Ilerioluwa Aloba. We will be coming to that. So they're not analyzing his 5 important points in the nation.
The number that is actually analyzing it are not much. Do you understand? But secondly, I think for president, he said that he was not the one who wrote the speech, but he would take the accolade. He actually spoke well. From the beginning, he spoke well. He actually spoke like a leader when he was telling them about allowing Africans to use their their resources to better their continent. He spoke well, and he, cautioned them in not interfering too much. But he's towards the end or towards the middle, he not messed up all his speech when he started talking about not rigging election. I think he messed up all the. He started well. He started well. I
Yes,
can give it to him. I can even
yes.
give him
I
7.
mean, yes.
I can even
When
give
he
him
was
70
talking
when he
of,
started. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, said they shouldn't rig, and I was just thinking his colleagues will be thinking, come on, go
What's
on,
this
tell
one
us.
talking about? Mm. So
Dr. Amy, let's hear from you from Moscow. He spoke of so many things, and he said that the chairman of ECOWAS will ensure that the issue of Niger Republic is settled, and that he spoke of the things that are going on, like regional problems like Boko Haram and Islamic wars that they had to go through. What are your impressions of his speech and the delivery of it?
Yeah, when our president speaks like a sovereign president, we can only be proud of it. And the fact that most people are saying is relatively solid, relatively straight to the point and succinct, I commend him for that. But I want to also stress the fact that we've been talking a lot of words, and words don't do much in geopolitics. What moves things in geopolitics are leverage and action. A great example is when the BRICS and Russia became close to African countries. We immediately saw the reaction, like you could say bada boom. All of a sudden, everyone expressing their love for Africa, like Africa was their first love. The same thing we've seen with membership of BRICS, membership of even EU. Lots of countries, Georgia, Turkey wanted to be part, but as soon as Russia had a conflict with Ukraine, we all started seeing fast tracking, all sorts of things, jumping the hurdles, all of a sudden the bar was dropped very low, and the criteria becomes very clear. So what moves things is competition and leverage, and not a lot of all those words. What Africa needs is to move away from neocolonialism, selling low quality goods and services and or low quality materials, and trying to make profit from high-end, high-value goods and services. Focus on technology transfer so that we can utilize our cheap labor to produce, to assemble, to manufacture. We have to consider balance of trade and not focus too deeply on GDP, or GDP per capita, when we have a lot of inequality, especially a very large divide between the rich and the poor, and a very poor infrastructure development and low competitive advantage, in the sense that even though we want to produce what another person is producing, and we have cheap labor, when we factor in transport, security, energy, we are finding ourselves not being competitive with the likes of China and other countries with cheap labor. So a lot of these things have to do with real actions and making sure that we are able to use what we have, our resources, to ensure that there's that technology transfer, there's education, and not just education stealing our citizens to go and serve in a foreign country. And what we get back, if we are lucky, is just some maybe remittances. We should more focus on how to develop our people so that they can develop Nigeria back as well.
All right. Thank you. I have one question for BD. I know that your business summit comes up on Friday, but I have this question for you. Listen to what Tinubu said, and I want you to respond from your heart. I know this subject is close to your heart. I've particularly brought this passage out for you, BD. President Tinubu said to the United Nations General Assembly, and I quote him, "The question is not whether Nigeria is open for business. The question is how much of the world is truly open to doing business with Nigeria and Africa in an equal, mutually beneficial manner." Tinubu is saying that Nigeria is 100% open, but he's not sure whether other countries are open to come into Nigeria. And I know that you have been querying and questioning the Nigerian business environment that is unfriendly. So Tinubu is saying, look, we are ready. But internal people are saying this place is not business friendly. How will you react to Mr. President's speech here?
I will actually revise that his statement. Yeah, we try to portray ourselves as if we are ready, but in actual sense, Nigerians are not ready because we can't keep touring the world, searching for investors, trying to lure or coerce people to come and invest in our country, whereby the environment of doing business in Nigeria is harsh, it's not friendly. Now, I tell presidents and the people that are in the business or in the power or the policy makers, it's not about them coming, it's about we returning them on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Companies leave Nigerians. And you know, the shameful part of it is this. They don't actually leave Nigerians back to their country. They leave Nigerians to our neighboring countries. And we proud ourselves as giants of Africa. And these companies leave Nigerians to our neighboring countries. Not only that, indigenous companies fold up, die on a monthly basis. Let me give you, every 2 years, Nigerians lose about 370 companies leaving Nigeria.
Wow.
Some dying, some folding up. Now, severally, we throw a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners back to labor market. So it's not about I can tell you here that a lot of people want to come and do business with Nigeria.
Is it because we don't have continuous electricity, we don't have infrastructures like roads and the rest? That's why they're leaving Nigeria.
Not only that, yes, it's actually we have this epileptic system of electricity, and even when it comes to afford it, it's very, very expensive. People do business with their overhead. Do you understand? The multiple taxation in Nigeria. We have this harsh policies. Is what Nigerian government is all about. It's all about taking. They are not interested in giving.
So because I know, because of our time, are you going to be addressing all these issues at your 4th Business Summit affair coming up on Friday?
Exactly. That's one of our topics we are going to be addressing. That's the most important thing. We need a friendly environment for doing business so that people can do business and more people can come. So business will stop dying, because let me tell you, what it does to us, it puts a lot of pressure on us. Do you understand? If in a country where you have 1 million people doing business in 2023, by June you have only 4,000 left. The same thing you expect from that 1 million, we still expect it from the 4,000 that is left. So the burden, the pressure becomes much on them. So we need to create a level and friendly environment for doing business. That's the only way we can come out of this.
That's a very good
thing
to say.
Thank you, Bidi. Yeah.
Okay. If you don't mind, Dr. Shadu, Bidi said, well, yes, sir. I was going to say, Bidi made some very good comment there. Added to that, I want to say that logically, if you don't go around looking for somebody to invest in you, if you make yourself valuable enough, people will see you and want to come and invest. So it is a very crazy mentality that our government is taking so much money, scouting around, hundreds of people going everywhere. Like in New York now, they are there in numbers, Nigerian officials, Nigerian ministers, and they say they're also out looking for investors. But like Bidi said, our environment is not suitable for investors. We see
it's not conducive. I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves. So let us improve on our infrastructures, on our electricity, on our security, and people will be trooping to Nigeria. But I have a question for you, Mark. Your question is this. President Tinubu said to the United Nations General Assembly, the 78th UNGA, he said, second, we must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of the sovereign will and well-being of the people. Military coups are wrong, as is any tilted civilian political arrangement that perpetuates injustice. Now, that coming from Tinubu and with the challenges of his election, how acceptable do you think that would be to his listeners, his fellow co-presidents and government leaders? How do you think they receive that one? Let me repeat it. We must affirm democratic governance as the best guarantor of the sovereign will and well-being of the people. I mean, if the European Union condemned the last election and you are telling the world of the sovereign will, how do you think they are receiving it from you?
Dr. Shaga, I can bet you a huge number of people seated there listening to him know the truth. But you see, sometimes human beings do this. They just follow a lie for some reasons. You know, everybody just pretends to, it's okay, let him just speak. So what he's doing is what you call the lip talking, and he's also a victim of what he's saying. Like you said, EU came out point blank and condemned our last presidential election. Some other bodies monitoring also did the same. And those people are also there at the United Nations building listening to him, and they know he's not being sincere. So while he's also there, like we will go on to other issues, the parties concerned in Nigeria are filing into the Supreme Court. Other things are happening. There is the bond that has been created with 3 countries in the ECOWAS, all to make themselves strong. So a lot of things is happening. So his words are not bond, like we will say. His words are just lips talking.
All right. We will leave this topic in just 30 seconds. Dr. Ibe, President Tinubu also said to the United Nations Assembly, he said there is the fourth important aspect of global trust and solidarity is to secure the continent's mineral-rich areas from pilfering and conflict. Now, we know that in Zamfara, international organizations, they come to extract gold free of charge. And the government is now saying to the rest of the world that they should stop it, whereas we refuse to stop that one in Nigeria. I mean, is there not a contradiction there?
Obviously, there's a giant contradiction because you cannot secure an area when the indigenous themselves are very poor. There's a large income inequality between the rich and the poor. You cannot guarantee security. There's absolutely no way to secure those areas. But I want to quickly touch on a larger problem. When you talk about a place being open for business, there are objective criteria which you see, and then you know the place is open for business. For example, number one, you have someone responsible for making negotiations and agreement between businesses and government officials, something like an economic director. You know, number two, you can check the sponsorship of startups. How many startups are really readily sponsored by the government? 3, I've talked about infrastructure. Number 4, tax breaks. Number 5, red tape, cutting through red tape. Are they willing to cut through bureaucracy for a great idea? Also, what about how good are they at constructing and maintaining infrastructure? Then also, the people who are going to come to work, they need things like social services, health insurance, they need recreational services. Otherwise, they won't find it a palatable place to come to work. I mean, the highest skilled laborers. And then they also need some kind of predictability. If you make a business plan, does it really follow business plan? Or a new political leadership comes in and scraps everything that the past one did and says, my rules, my administration, my rules. The compromise officials also very important. If they have their businesses in a particular country, they will not entertain offers from another country because their businesses.
I'm telling you, you should be one of the speakers at BD's World Production Business Summit.
Sovereignty of the country is also very important because they will not need to ask their patrons about a good business.
Okay. Mark, please tell us more about Peter Obi and Atiku going to the Supreme Court. Peter Obi has filed 51 reasons, grounds of appeal, and Atiku has filed 37. And also, more importantly, we are told that the court in Illinois has asked Chicago State University to produce Tinubu's profile. Tell us more.
Yes, you just said it, Dr. Shagun. 51 case against are going to the Supreme Court. There's a time frame they are trying to work out, and that time frame is to make sure they don't bypass the 14 days window that is open for them. So everything is going very, very fast. LP on one side, PDP on the other side, and but the other story is this: the same CGN. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, that is affiliated with APC and also affiliated with Bola Tinubu, is the man that has inaugurated the judges that will look into the judgment at the Supreme Court. So we begin to ask, how fair would that judgment be again, because we saw what happened at the tribunal court. How fair would that judgment be? Because this man is going to pick lawyers and judges and advocates that represent his own interests. So, Dr. Shagun, we don't know how this will play out, but it's obvious that it won't be fair enough. I mean, it won't be fair. We saw what happened with the tribunal. Instead of the petition getting the judgment, it looked like the petitioners were the case themselves. They were being judged for bringing up that issue. Can you imagine that? And now,
yeah, Bidi, please tell us what's going on in the nation there. Are you people interested in this matter, or you've accepted? Let it just go.
No, Nigerians are really, they like what the Labour Party and the PDP, Obi and Atiku is doing, but they still have this mindset that still the same thing will come out, because like Massive Max said, it's still the Chief Justice of that inaugurated the committee that will look into it, and we all know who he is, and we know who his allegiance, who he holds his loyalty to. So even me, I'm like, I want them to get to the top. At least let it be that they've done everything. Let Nigerians know, at least to prove a point in Nigeria. In as much as people like me know that nothing different that will come out from that, but let them get to the end. At least it will prove a point to every Nigerian. Make a statement.
Bidi, I've been reserving this question for you. You know, when Jonathan was the vice president and Yaradua was dead and they didn't want to make him the acting president, people like Wole Soyinka, Bakare, and many of them, they came out en masse. They protested and protested until he was made the acting president. But the majority of the people in Nigeria are called the Gen Zs. They're between the age of 18 and 39. It appears this group, they don't like protest at all. They are always on their computer. Is that the reason why they are just defeated on the ground? They might be winning the internet war, but they appear to be defeated on the ground. The Gen Zs, they cannot rule the kind of democracy that we need, isn't it?
Dr. Shego, I totally disagree with you.
Okay, go on there.
I totally disagree. Your generation, what is your generation called? Sorry, remind me.
Gen X.
Our own,
baby
Gen
boomers.
X.
You people,
Yes,
baby boomers. That's what they.
You people have silenced the Gen Z. The Gen Z has been silenced. Don't say that. Gen Zs are people who are quick to go to the street. They've been silenced. And there's something we should understand that is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is using divide and rule. You call people like Tunde Bakari, Wole Soyinka. Now, let me tell you, in this issue of election tribunal or election crisis in Nigeria, they brought tribalism into it, and it has stopped the things to work the way it's supposed to work. The Gen Z want to go to the street. The Gen Z want to get things done right. The Gen Z want to speak up. But the people before them, or even people before them, have silenced them. They don't allow them to speak. And what do? They take solace in their computer. They take solace in social media. Do you understand? They want to speak, they want to talk, they want to make a change, and they have the right, they have the strength, the power to do it. I give it to them. I'm telling you, those Gen Zs, don't
They are 60%.
overrate them. They
Okay,
can do
okay,
it.
okay. Let me ask Dr. Ibi. This group of people, they are 60%. They are not happy with what is going on with the rigging and the rest, and they want a better Nigeria in their during their time. But it appears that they don't know what to do when it comes to coming out to speak for themselves. The last time at the NSAS meeting, they call it Sorosoke, which means talk loud, say something. But it appears this time around, they're not speaking, they're not protesting, they're just subsumed. Maybe like BD said, maybe they have been fought over, they've been silenced. Let me use that word, they've been silenced. But I'm not impressed the way that they have been quiet so far.
The truth is that by saying that you've been silenced, removes you of the responsibility of speaking. And there are attempts to silence, but if you keep quiet, it's your choice to keep quiet because there's no tape over your mouth. So you don't devolve responsibility of people who refuse to speak. But yes, they are trying to speak. The attempts to silence, all these two plays are going on. But the point is that the reality is that geopolitics, politics, it's not about only making noise. There's power play, there's internal factors, external factors. Internal factors, do you have the military supporting you? External factors, which geopolitical power is backing you in terms of being able to provide you finance, logistics, technology transfer if necessary. So these are the things that we need to look at to be able to negotiate. This is not just by speaking out. If you have no leverage to speak out, no authority to speak out, then there's going to be very limitation. We've lost how to do diplomacy, how to do power play, how to understand the landscape, and to be able to be result oriented and to get the result we want. We think it's more like shouting or me too, victimization, wokeness. We think that's the way forward. In reality, that's
okay. Sorry to cut it. Let me ask you this.
Dr. Shegu, please, I want to say something to refer to what Dr. Ibe said. Yeah, he said you can be silent, but deciding to keep quiet, it is your fault. Now, let me tell you, I want to bring it down. I don't want to speak grammar now. I want to tell you the situation in Nigeria. We also saw what happened during the NSAS. They came out.
Yeah.
They were speaking against the brutality of police. What did the government do? They came out and they slaughtered them. They killed them. And did they get judgment? They did not get judgment. They lied against them. They took away their corpse. 3 years after, they now want to bury them in the midnight. Do you understand? Now that one apart. In this country, sorry, you guys are not in Nigeria. In this country, we have seen how a wife of a president arrested a boy because he made a comment online, just like, oh, you're not looking fat. Nigerian money is what you use it to do. Within 3 days, he was judged and sent to Krikri. That guy is still in Krikri now. We know how many Ogun State government, Cross River government, Imo State government, you know how they picked people on social media just by making comments. Do you understand? Now, in Nigeria, let me tell you what most of you don't know. Do you know that when I was growing up, we have a lot of activists, freedom fighters. Where are they in Nigeria now? They are no longer there. It's not as if they are not alive, they are still alive. But do you know what this present government did? APC government, they put them under payroll. They pay them. Let me tell you, I'm not saying what I don't know. I'm saying what I know, and I'm not afraid to say it. They pay them. Our journalists in Nigeria, they are in payroll of some people in Nigeria. They're not working for them. But what you do is that every end of the month you get salary. Do you know what that salary does? The person that's paying you, you might not see the person. You might not have one-on-one with the person throughout your lifetime. But do you know what that salary does? Whenever you see the news of that person or the news of that group, you kill it. You defend them. That's what this government has been able to do to Nigerian system. They silence people, they're taking people, they're killing people just for speaking up. So what do you expect this generation to do? They silence them.
Well,
They're taking away the courage. They're taking away the boldness in them.
Yeah, let me say openly, I corroborate your statements. Many people have been paid off. I know personally too. There may even be different people that we know, but unfortunately, that is the game they play. We'll go on a short break. When we return, one man called Mohbad died. He's a young man at 27, and everybody is shouting. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Oh God. These words, changing your mindsets.
Mike Isaac. I am visually impaired.
I'm a cripple. I'm crippled in both legs.
I'm a builder. If people can able to get me a laptop or smart big phone to be cover project.
Baba Ajuko from Nigerian of the Blind in Lagos State. All I just need now is a smartphone. I don't mind any type. Just for me to be selling my products and facilitate my job. With a smartphone with me, I can do my free traveling on the line and I don't need to beg anybody for money again.
Business Summit and Fair 4th edition is set to digitalize physically challenged business owners by gifting them smartphones, laptops to enable them do their business properly and effortlessly. Business Summit and Fair is an annual advocacy business program advocating for friendly business environment for SMEs in Nigeria and physically challenged business owners. Since the inception of this program, we've revived so many SMEs and taken off the streets so many beggars, inculcating in them the spirit of owning and doing their own businesses. Since after the COVID, many of them have been left behind for lack of having smartphones and laptops. Then they used to have their businesses along the road or in a marketplace. Now there's a need for them to be carried along into the e-market, and we need to do that by gifting them smartphones and laptops. Join us this year, 21st September 2023 at Radisson Hotel Ikeja GRA as we have our annual events, digitalizing physically challenged business owner. It's the topic for this year. Be part of Business Summit and Fair, where you will learn, discuss, and exhibit your products and services. Join us this year, 21st September 2023, at Radisson Hotel Ikeja GRA for Business Summit and Fair 4th edition.
My name is Bede Nana. I'm the convener of Business Summit and Space.
It's a laudable one. This is a way of contributing to the society. And this is a kind of a project that's supposed to be done by every individual.
It's a very fantastic one because many Nigerian youth, this is exactly what we need. Unfortunately, we're not getting enough of it. The aspect of the school is not really supplying this path that is more practical and direct to life.
I really want to thank PD World for what they are doing. Even despite the challenges, they still forge ahead to put this together. And I believe the next one should be a bigger one and better than this.
I'm a journalist, an author, blogger, presenter, stop rape advocate, people living with disability ambassador, and I'm also a humanitarian. My major aim in life is to impact lives, and part of it is what I'm doing. And I'm inviting you to join me to make this possible.
Oh, thank you for staying with us. It's still the Nays Echoes, and we're bringing you issues from Nigeria. I'm glad BD, one of us, is having a business summit on Friday. BD, are you ready?
I'm very much ready.
Okay, so people will be coming. Unfortunately, we should be covering. I will talk to the management of Schengen Media. We should be covering your show immediately after our Friday show. We should cover it at least for 1 hour so that the international media will be with you. Is that okay? Can I get a yes from Massive Mark?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. We will stay on Friday and give you an international coverage of that one.
Sir. Yes,
Bidi, the next question goes to you. There's this guy called Ilerioluwa Aloba, not generally and popularly known as Mohbad. He has done so many music that has blown out, and he became successful at a young age of 27. Unfortunately, died. Please tell us more about this young man and why his death is causing trouble in Nigeria.
Ilerioluwa Aloba Mohbad died on 12th of September 2023. Before he died, the guy is very talented. He has wonderful music. He sings very well. He sings from the heart. Before he died, he was signed to Malian's record. So they start having problems in 2021. He even wrote to DG Police telling them that his life is at stake. He made a lot of videos. He said a lot of things. But you know, Nigerian, in our insensitive nature, nobody paid attention to this boy. Nobody listened to all his lamentation, all his video, the fighting. Nobody. People did not care. We are so engrossed in making money that we are not taken to heaven. Now the boy died, and when he died, he said he was having problem. He had a problem with his rebel record label, which is Malian Records, and he came home to Ikorodu to his father. They took him to the hospital. Immediately they gave him an injection. The boy gave up ghost. And the father brought him home to bury him that night. Some people in the area refused. Any morning the next day, they buried him. And before the burial, people were saying, the youth, those Gen Z you were talking about, they were saying that don't bury this guy, that they need autopsy. Because of the incident that surrounded him and his career, that this thing is not ordinary. The father wouldn't listen. He went and buried him. This guy is a very tall guy, very handsome guy, tall, well built. Now, they went and buried this guy with a very small coffin. And now Nigerians are saying, this guy even started as a carpenter. He had his colleague in his former job. He had people around. They would have brought them to do coffee that will size him very well. But no, they just wanted to force me. If you look at the one that they buried him, they break his neck so that he could enter that coffin. They went to bury him. Now, a lot of the Nigerian people said no. Now, the thing is being that Malian Record, which is Naira Mali, is into drug. You remember, a few months ago, NDLA made him ambassador, and Nigerians frown against that. Why would they make a drug addict an ambassador? Now, some of the stories Mohbad was saying is that they are into drug. They want him to do drug. They want him to carry drug. And he refused. He said he will not do it. But because they picked him up from the street, he's a street boy. They picked him up from the street. But because the guy knows a lot of things, they wouldn't want him go. They want to have him do a lot of things by force, and the boy didn't want to. So they didn't want him to go. So they feel him leaving will be exposing them. So what a lot of Nigerians are saying now is that it was because of that they killed him. Now they said they are going to exhume his body and do autopsy. Now on my own side, autopsy is not the issue because they might not find something. Now, Dr. Shega, I want to school you people a little here. I know you people know already. There are many ways you can kill someone. By frustration, by humiliation, by intimidation, by coercing somebody, by your actions or inactions. It could kill somebody. And you have killed the person. It's not only when you use gun, knife, or beat the person, no. I think Naira Marley and his colleague actually killed this boy. Even if they didn't use any substance, their actions towards this guy killed this guy. And if you listen to all this voice music, it was talking to Nigerians. It was begging us to come and save him, to come for his rescue. But nobody showed care. Nigerians are very insensitive.
Okay.
I wish this boy's death would teach us a lot of things. And why we need to fight for this boy. We still have many young Nigerians on the street. If we don't fight for this boy's death and stop it, same thing that happened to Mohbad will happen to a lot of young Nigerians on the street.
Upcoming artists. Thank you. Mark, what do we know about this one that we have just been told? Do we have anything that we know?
Yes, we are following this thing very, very keenly, Dr. Shego. Because as at this morning also, the Falana chamber, we all know the man at the lawyer Falana. He has requested that there is an inquest into the death of the singer, Ilerioluwa Aloba, known as Mohbad. So we are following things. Allegations have been put on the other artist called Naira Marley. He's also an Afrobeat artist, and his friend called Sam Larry. The two of them are now being looked on. Now, let's also add this to the talk you said before, Dr. Shego. The Gen Z are actually still active. They are still protesting. They are still involved in a lot of activism. Because so far, 3 states in Nigeria, Ogun State, Lagos State, and another state, have had the Gen Z young people come on the streets protesting against this boy's death. The death, actually, the story is that in June, sometime in June, this young man alleged that one Samson Balogun, the Larry, and some other people, some other associates of the Naira Marley team, assaulted him and destroyed some of his property while he was trying to have a video shoot. So he said a group of 50 men stormed his house with firearms and cutlasses, and they destroyed a lot of things. So this boy has actually been going through a lot of problems. Police said yes, that they are investigating the circumstances surrounding his death, and we also wonder, like Lily said, why the father was quick to bury him. You know, the father harshly buried him with a coffin that was not even his size. So
yeah, but he was a Muslim, wasn't he? They bury him.
Yeah, he's a Christian. He's a Christian.
Okay. But the thing now is, why did the father bury him that fast? And also, like BD said, this thing is opening up a canker of worms in the Nigerian music industry. What we are hearing is that there is this cult-like arrangement that they have in that music industry. So, and this boy obviously didn't want to be part of that cult activity. So,
but before you go on, we have seen the picture of this young man who was slow in speech, looked like he was under the influence of drug himself. It's all over in the internet. So how do we balance that? That he too was taking drug, wasn't he?
Yes.
He wasn't taking.
No, he does.
We saw his pictures.
Yes, he does. BD, obviously, that industry has most of those young boys and girls using substance. But you see, there are levels to drug. Marijuana for now in Nigeria is still classified as drug. marijuana. And if you use it, it's still an illegal substance. But a lot of them use that. You know, they have names for it. Now, there is also the higher, more concrete drug, which he doesn't want to be part of. And that is the one that we are now also looking at, that wanted to be part of that. So anyway,
what a shame. Yeah, Billy,
yes.
you wanted to say something. It's a very sad story, but what do we know?
What Matthew said is true. He was.
Go ahead.
Is she
okay,
frozen?
I think yes. So the boy has been
drugs, which they.
Okay, Bidi, we're losing you a little.
We can't hear you, Bidi.
Yes, I think it's the network.
Oh, okay. And we really don't know what will happen hereafter. Well, the governor is involved in the.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just now.
Hello?
Yeah, go on, go on. We can hear you now.
Go ahead, we can hear you. Okay, anyway, Dr. Shagun, the police is into it. I think today they will be exhuming his body for the autopsy. And also, because what they said is that
yeah, Biddy, you can say something. Maybe I'll hear you now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go on.
Yeah, yes. They actually introduced this guy to the drugs, but he wants to stop it. Or there's another level they want him to take. He doesn't want to carry it. Now, there's another angle I want people to understand. This Larry and the Naira Marley works for our president. Do you know what that means? Getting justice for this boy is actually slim. Now, I am calling for justice for this boy is not to punish anybody or for anything, but to stop, because there's a lot of big cartel in music industry. And you and I know that Gen Z interest is more on entertainment and music. A lot of young people are entering into that industry. If it's not westernized, a lot of young youths are going to go in this direction, and we don't need it. So every woman in Nigeria, home and abroad, should be part of this justice for this boy. Not for Mohbad. Mohbad is dead and gone, but for the young Nigerians. Because for our president to have Larry and Naira Marley as his boys, getting justice for this boy might be slim, and it is slim.
Well,
so I don't know how.
You told us that Femi Falana has stepped into it. We hope he will be able to see until we get the full picture of autopsy of this and that.
Dr.
We may not be able to know
Dr.
this.
Dr. Shegu, I want to tell you for free. See that autopsy will come out and nothing will be fine. Just say that I told you.
But the father, what's the position of the father? The father who quickly took him to the hospital and took him straight to the mortuary.
They said there's a lot of news that coming. They said they bribed his father, because the father said, they asked the father, when your son came back, was bruised all over his body, sick for weeks in the hospital. What did you do? He said he called Naira Marley. Naira Marley did not pick his call. But because of the pain and what they did to his son, he wanted to go to Naira Marley's house. But he was afraid. He don't know what they would do to him. See, fear and poverty. What fear and poverty can do to someone. Now, people are saying, let me tell you news. I want to tell you, they said that injection that was given to Naira Marley was instructed to give to him. Do you understand? And immediately they gave the instruction, they threatened his father to bury him. This has been what that is.
Okay, Bidi, we have to drop this story so that we can go to the next story. But I want to ask you one question on this matter. What lesson should the young people learn from this Mohbad episode? It's gone, it's gone. Whether they find somebody guilty of it or not is another matter. What lesson should the younger upcoming artists learn?
Don't be in a hurry. Take it easy. Work on your head. Don't be in a hurry. Don't envy anybody. Don't be in a hurry. And to Nigerians, we are too insensitive. We are too insensitive. The kind of mindset we have in this part of the world is me, 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 and it's destroying us. Look out for one another. Assist one another when you can.
And stay away from drugs.
Yeah. Now, within 3 days, this boy's 4 music topped the Apple Music in the world. 4 of his music. But when he broke out from Naira Marley, he was begging people to share his music. They did not. If he had shared his music then, he should have been alive today. Do you understand? We are too insensitive in this part of the world. And stay away from drugs. Now, I have a question for you, Dr. Shehu. Sorry. How do they stay away from the drugs? Because the industry or the parastatals that is in charge of regulating these drugs are actually drug cartels. Yes, the NGA.
Well, I can't prove that one from here, so I don't know.
I can't prove it too. Yes, I can't prove it too, but I'm telling you. Now, if they are not, when they made the Naira Marley ambassador, I thought he had quit drugs, but he was still doing drugs. I thought they rehabbed him, but no, he was still doing drugs, still trafficking drugs. If they have rehabilitated him and made him ambassador, that would have been okay, but they did not. They made him ambassador. Why? Well, because they have a lot of things to cover.
Thank you, BD. Mark, I thought I would not ask you the question. So, do we learn a national lesson from it, a personal lesson from it? Because these young people, they now go, they sing, they act, and they are within an area that is like occultism. The producers, and it's all over the world. They don't allow you to come out except you do their bid, you know. So what exactly, what lessons should we inform of those who are 14, 15, 16, ready to come out?
First, let's take note of something. Dr. Shago, what we're saying today is really serious. Number one thing we should note is the Afrobeat that started somewhere in West Africa, Ghana, but it has now gone very far with the Nigerian artists. Is a global business. It's big business now. And a lot of young people, we call them cats, a lot of young cats on the streets of Lagos, Nigeria, I want to be part of this big business. There's big money. There's everything in it is, I mean, there's fame, there's glamour and all that. So this is also bringing up what BD is telling us. Some group of people are now capitalizing on this big business for to now make it like a clan thing, a cult-like thing, so that there is an allegiance to a particular group, a particular power that controls the business. So this is what is playing out in Nigeria now. Now, yes, there are lessons to be learned. Number one lesson is, first of all, the government should also look into this business, this industry, from a very, very pivotal point of view. You know, the government has not looked into it in that angle. What we see is still in a kind of rickety arrangement kind of thing. The government should look into this industry. Second of all, yes, there are a lot of talented young people in Nigeria, in Africa, that want to come into this line. But like BD said, they should take it easy. They should study this whole underground thing first before coming out. Some people want to jack it up. Some people are using it as a means of creating another thing, a cartel. So these young people should understand that it's not what you see, it's not how you see things that it is.
Well, how about the role of the parents when these young people are coming out? The role of
the parents are excited. Every father wants his or her child to be on stage like Wizkid, Burna Boy, and all of them. So the parents are very excited about their children getting into this business line. So that's why they forget these little lines they should be checking on. No background check, no anything. So they just get so excited. Yes, so they must look out.
I want to talk about the role of a parent. It starts from when you want to start a family. You know, in this part of the world, we have this mindset that God trains, and we believe God trains. People open their legs and give birth to children they can't take care of. Do you understand? It starts from there. I'm using this Mohbad as example. See, your son was bruised, was battered. I put him in a hospital for 2 weeks. You could not go to the person that did that to your son. That is what poverty has made you. This one from his story. His first song, he did carpentry job and made the money. He didn't even go to school. He didn't finish the school. He helped himself. So it's obvious that the parents had nothing to offer him. Secondly, what I said from the start from home. Now, the mother and the father is no longer living. He lives with his father and his stepmom. The stepmom is very mean. And I'm talking to we women that when we come and marry a man who has a child, we now don't want to see those children. If you cannot take those children as your own children, don't marry that man. Some of we women are heartless. We are wicked. We're not supposed to be in this world. I'm telling you. Now, I will tell you for free that that's her stepmother. She has not been in news. She is the brain behind what happened to this boy. Do you understand? So it starts from when you want to build a home. I tell people most times, if you don't have money to take care of a child, you can get married, be enjoying yourself, but don't have children. Because it's the problem to those children. This Mohbad boy died lamenting. This boy was a bitter boy. If you listen to all his music, if you listen to all his friends, he's always bitter. And because of what life has done to him.
I hope this your message. I hope this your message will cut across Nigeria, because we see about 15 million Nigerian children not in school in the north, and it's just like the parents are giving back to them, and they are begging and sitting down waiting for the next meal somewhere. So it's not just for the southern part, but for the northern part as well.
Exactly. See, you can have it. You can enjoy your sexual life. You can enjoy yourself without bringing into life children that will come and suffer. Enough of that. I'm telling you.
All right. We will be following the story of Mohbad until it is concluded. Let's hope justice will be done. Finally, Mark, tell us, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger republics, they came together and formed a defense pact outside of ECOWAS. Is this the beginning of the decline of ECOWAS?
That's the beginning of the decline of ECOWAS, Dr. Shagun. That's what everybody's saying. Yes, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso signed a mutual defense pact, and the pact also involved a lot of things, defense, so many things. In fact, what we're seeing is the charter is going to also help them to work together in militarily. In case of event of attack on any one of them, the other one will also support. So
why is Guinea not among them? Guinea Republic is to
maybe Dr. Shagun, Guinea might join later on. Okay. But these three countries have decided to work together to prevent and settle any armed rebellion.
External aggression, yeah.
Yes. So we saw that happen on Saturday, and like you just said, this means ECOWAS is beginning to lose its power. ECOWAS will know. I mean, if this is happening, then they are telling to the ECOWAS face that they are capable of standing on their own, and their priority to fight terrorism is what they say they are going to stand on. So, but take note something, Dr. Shagun. Mali have suffered a lot of terrorism. Burkina Faso, the same thing. And some of these terrorist attack comes from within them. So this pact is not also looking at the ECOWAS issue, but also in their internal security.
The Islamic wars, Islamic terrorism, and all the rest.
Internal security, yes, that's correct, Dr. Shagun.
Oh, so, well, we will be looking at that too in the recent weeks to come. It's going to be the unfortunately, it's happening under the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but then ECOWAS is vulnerable these days. Bidi, just in 1 second, what can you say on Friday, because our time is up?
Yeah, what I can say on Friday is that I've been pleading to you people, my viewers, to support me, to gift my disabled business owner's phone. And you know, if you have listened to me, doesn't mean I don't have viewers, doesn't mean I'm not doing well for you people here. Notwithstanding, it's still on. You can still donate for them.
All right.
Like my mentor have said that they'll connect, please. Connect
they should go
and
to your
with us.
website, BD World Production. Thank you very much. We'll be
Yeah.
covering that live on Friday. This is how far we can go today. I want to thank my colleagues all over the world and the crew at Italy. Thank you for showing us across the globe. Until Friday, God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Shegun. Thank you.